I want to give a shout out to my, good friend Naomi. It's serendipitous that you would publish a poem that she's part of the dedication for the poem. So that's quite unplanned, right? And we'll have to talk off camera about this event, right? We haven't seen each other in a long time, but all right. So this is titled "What If That Evening Was a Metaphor?" For Naomi and Ethelbert. And this is going back at least 10, 12, maybe 15 years at this point, right? Okay, I won't embarrass you. Okay. You are invited to a literary salon in Georgetown by one of the board members. You have never been to such an affair. You are 23, maybe 24. You remember reading about Langston Hughes living in Washington. You run over to the Goodwill in Bethesda to buy a sports jacket. You and another poet are invited to read an original poem. Transportation has been arranged. You're feeling quite special, a bona fide member of the DC literati. You and the other poet are dropped off early. The two of you think nothing of it. Better to be early than late is the credo hammered in your head since childhood. No racial stereotypes on this August evening. The host is an elderly white woman. Her pearls are the size of marbles. She looks like she likes to eat cucumber sandwiches with the ends cut off. She makes a point to show you her first edition copy of Roots. You feign delight with a painted smile. Shortly after, she mentions that her housekeeper calls out sick. You and the other poet look at each other curiously. You are given a tour of the kitchen, which is twice the size of your apartment. Something happens. An internal switch goes off. The clock moves counterclockwise. Maybe it's pity for the elderly host. Maybe history is peeking through this moment, whispering, "Gotcha." After all, Langston was a busboy. He earned his living serving at the Washington Hotel. This is only for the evening. It's not a lifelong engagement. Or is it? You peel off your sports coat. Your comrade removes her shawl, her bejeweled heels. You share a knowing stare. Together, you begin a synchronous motion of chopping carrots, celery, and cheeses, arranging platters, making sure the cheese is in perfect cubes, stabbing them with toothpicks. At this point, your Calvin Klein cologne has worn off and you smell like aging cheese. That is to say, vomit. The guests begin to pour in. One of the board members moves into the kitchen, face tensed, accusatory. What are you all doing? The questions begin to ring inside your ear. Did you do something wrong? What was the alternative? Leaving? Cursing out the hostess? Screw you, your lazy housekeeper, and your pristine copy of Roots. Years later, it all plays back like a bad movie you say you don't want to watch but oblige. Were you a guest? Was it a setup? Were you being overly sensitive? And what if the evening was a metaphor for the African American condition? Both coincidence and injury. The clock still spinning out of whack. Thank you.